I'm convinced Jesus wants to take everything you think you know about family and faith, service and suffering, justice and joy, and yes, even about Jesus himself, and turn it all upside down. The only question is, are you willing to give him a chance? Are you willing to examine him in a new light? I've learned that where you stand determines what you see. So, I'm going to invite you to stand with me for a while, in the slums and ghettos of the world, among the poorest of the poor, and see Jesus with fresh eyes. Writer and activist Shane Claiborne once wrote, "Most good things have been said far too many times and just need to be lived." So, as you savor this story and grapple with its implications, allow my journey to inspire your own journey. Allow Jesus to subvert what you think you already know. And you'll find that this book becomes an invitation to say yes to this subversive Jesus and do something courageous with your life. Chapter 1. Subversive Jesus. He has brought down rulers from their thrones and has sent the rich away empty. Luke 1:52-53. I grew up in the church, and at a young age, I came to the conclusion that Jesus was nice. My grandmother had one of those old-school nice Jesus paintings hanging on her wall in an ornate frame, in which Jesus is sitting on a boulder holding a perfectly white little lamb, his blonde locks flowing around his serene face and manicured beard. This Jesus was nice, and I understood I should be nice too. This niceness was much vaguer than kindness, for kindness is costly, truthful, and loving. Niceness, on the other hand, at least the way I understood it, was always appropriate, unfailingly polite, never disagreeable, and certainly not upsetting in any way. As I grew older and began to look around the church, this niceness morphed into respectability, underpinning the way I understood that Christians should interact with wider society and the government. After all, Jesus was a good and respectable citizen who obeyed all the laws and never caused any trouble whatsoever. He never would have been involved with politics or protests or anything messy and controversial. I learned in Sunday school that some of respectable Jesus' disciples, the zealots, wanted a revolution, but they didn't understand that Jesus was just not interested in politics. He was interested only in saving people's souls so they could go to heaven. Inwardly, I mocked the stupid disciples for always getting the wrong end of the stick. But, as with all idols, cracks eventually appear, and my domesticated Jesus could not stand up to the rigors of life outside this respectable Christian bubble. One day, bored with the predictable direction of my privileged life, I took a semester off from my university studies. I left my affluent white neighborhood in New Zealand and boarded a long flight to Cambodia, where everything I had ever learned about Jesus was called into question. Confronted by injustice. The first time I walked into the Tuol Sleng Museum of Genocide in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, I was 22 years old and newly arrived in the country. Outside the gate, I met a beggar with a bandaged stump for a leg and a rickety wooden crutch to provide balance. Most of his teeth were missing, and his grin reminded me of a friendly jack-o'-lantern. When he saw me, he smiled more broadly, lopsided and cheeky. "Sir?" he said, thrusting an upturned baseball cap in my direction. A faded red, filthy T-shirt hung from his body. On the front of the T-shirt were 4 huge, peeling block letters, WWJD. When I was growing up,